Hi, today I'm going to talk about my experience of driving cars. See, I grew up in a small town in West Bengal in a lower middle class family in the 70s and 80s. And back then, even rich people didn't have a car. Um, the only car available was Ambassador, and there was a 2 year wait time to even get a car, even if you could afford one. So, of course, there's no question of driving a car. I don't think I was even inside a car until I went to Calcutta and had a job. So in Bakuda, we used to commute mostly by cycle or walk, sometimes cycle rickshaw. That's it. Then I went to Kolkata. Kolkata is all bus, right? Even now, Kolkata is all about bus. People prefer bus over any other mode of transport. Even rich people who could afford taxi, they commute by bus. I got used to it. I loved it. And then finally, I got a job, and at job, then of course, back then, I mean, probably even now, the particularly in this semi-government organization, the one of the big attraction of having a job is that you always have access to a car. So in the city, you could always rent a taxi if you are in office travel, or when we used to go to outstation, then it was like 24/7. I used to have a car. I mean, as soon as I land in Maithan or Durgapur, I would hire a car, and then the car will be with me literally 24/7. In the night, the car will be waiting for me. So there is no need to get a car for myself and drive. Once we thought of back then Mercedes, sorry, not Mercedes, Maruti 800 was becoming very popular as a car for the middle class. So once or twice there was a discussion that should we get a car, and some of my colleagues they were thinking about it, but I couldn't. First of all, I couldn't afford a car, and even if we could afford a second-hand Maruti car maybe, but I never felt the need for it. I was not into cars or anything, so I never drove when I was in India. Then I went to the US. Um, in the US, first I went to Florida. There, there is no public transport. You must have a car of your own. I didn't know how to drive. I didn't have a car, so I used to commute with riding with my colleagues or friends. No, I didn't have friends. I mean, colleagues. Or occasionally, I would take a taxi if I couldn't find anything. Taxis were very expensive. And after a couple of months, then they shifted me to Cleveland. There again, I was somewhat close to the city. There, they had some decent public transport. There was a train, and then there were frequent buses, so I could manage with public transport. So to work, I used to take the train and partly by bus. And the other places, I could take the bus. To the city, I could go by train. Then again, from there, I came to Philadelphia. Philadelphia, I was working for the university, and I was staying close to the university in that neighborhood. Like 1.5 kilometers, 2 kilometers to walk. So I used to walk 20-25 minutes. Um but that's okay. I mean, for commute it was okay. But in America, you like feel like having a car, right? I mean, it's like freedom. You could go to places. You got to go to New York. You could go anywhere else you want. So I felt like I need a car, but I didn't know how to drive. So I wanted to learn how to drive. In the US, of course, everywhere else, I mean, you need a learner's permit to learn how to drive. So, well, I went to the RTO there, they call it DMV, that's the middle of the city, in the downtown, very congested area. I remember I went by the subway. There I took an appointment and I pick up the booklet, and then I came home and I studied for a couple of weeks the rules, the science, and there's a whole half of the book was devoted to alcohol, how drink and drive, and in general about what alcohol does and so on. I mean, this whole awareness about alcohol and drink and drive back then. So anyway, so then I went to the exam. I took the exam. It's simple. multiple choice in a computer. I don't think it was touch screen, but back then it's, yeah, computer is just starting up. So, but yeah, so I took the exam, I passed, and then few days later they sent me the learner's permit. Now this is important. Learner's permit or driver's license is important in the US as an ID, because DMV is also an authority to issue ID. Even if you don't have a driver's license, you can just ask for an ID. And why is ID important? ID is important because they don't sell tobacco or alcohol without an ID. They call it carded, they call it. So, and I was like 25 years old back then. I was thin, lanky, no mustache, no facial hair. And when I walked into a liquor store, they will not, I mean, they don't give liquor to anybody, even the old people. But of course, to me, yes. So I used to carry my passport. But some places, they won't even accept passport. They said ID means ID, government approved ID. So anyway, so that's why learner's permit became my ID, and that made my life a little easy to buy alcohol and tobacco. So, and then in Philadelphia, you could rent a car with the learner's permit, provided that you have a licensed guy riding with you. So one day, a colleague of mine said, "Why don't you rent a car for the weekend? Weekend is very cheap. The cars, renting a car is like $10 a day. Right? Saturday, Sunday, I could rent for $20. So a colleague of mine said, "Why don't you rent a car?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And then he said, "Okay, I will take you around, and you can get some practice driving." I said, "Fine." So we rented a car, and we went to his flat that was in the suburb in Valley Forge. So in the evening, in the night time, I took out the car and tried to drive around his apartment building, and I scratched with another car, and I didn't tell him. I just went there and parked it. And the next morning, he asked me to drive on the freeway. I tried, and I was so scared that I stopped. I said, "No, I can't. You take me around." So then yeah. So I took lessons, driving lessons with the driving schools. Driving lessons were expensive. It was like $40 an hour, but they were good. By the way, learning to fly was $70 an hour. Learning to drive was like $40 an hour. In America, everything is affordable, isn't it? So I took many lessons, but I was still not very comfortable. But anyway, then the driving test came. Driving test was easy. I mean, to get a license, you just have to drive around the block and then do a parallel parking. If you can do that, you're done. I could do both, and I got the license. But I still don't know how to drive, right? So I thought I'll take a few more lessons to brush up and then finally drive. So I took a lesson. The instructor said, "Where's your learner's permit?" I said, "I have a license." Then why are you taking lessons? I said, "Yeah, I don't know how to drive. I'm not comfortable." So anyway, so I took a few more lessons. I felt okay, maybe I can drive now. Fine. So I bought a car. I bought a white old Corolla car, Toyota Corolla, and I took it. I don't know how I drove back home. I went to the insurance guy and took the insurance, and drove back and kept it near my apartment. Of course, I was commuting. I was walking to work, so no need to drive a car there, and there's no parking there anyway. But in the evening, I used to drive around the block, and I tried to learn. In the weekend, one weekend I took the car to a friend's place, and then when I was trying to come back, the car won't start. The battery went down, so I was angry. I mean, but it was Sunday, so I couldn't get a jump start, so I left the car there. I thought I'll pick it up next morning. Next morning, I should go in there, and the car is gone. I thought it was stolen, so I complained to the police. In the evening, I got a note on my mailbox saying, "Your car is not stolen; it's towed," because I didn't see the sign. The spot was reserved for the residents. I didn't have a sticker, so they towed my car. So I got a note saying, "Okay, here's the towing company. You call them up, and you can take your car back." So I called them up, and they said, "Okay, it's $95. You have to come back in the morning." As I went there, they gave me a jump start. I think I went by taxi, and then I brought the car back, and I was so angry, saying, "Why did the car went down?" I took the car back to the dealer. I said, "I want a new car. I can't drive this thing around." He said, "Okay, you can get a pretty much new car. Toyota Tercel is $13,000. That's quite a big sum for me at that time. So I had to finance it. I mean, I had to take a loan. So because I had $5,000, I paid the remainder. I had to finance it. I took a loan and I brought the car, and then again I drove around the neighborhood a little while. Then finally I took a flat inside the city. It was a posh neighborhood, nice high-rise building, absolutely bang on the city and near the Schuylkill River. And again, it's close to my university, so I didn't need a car to commute there. Again, I was commuting on my bicycle. I bought a cycle back then, but I had the car, and there was no free parking there, so I had to pay $120 just to keep the car. Anyway, that was expensive back then. So I was driving around the city, and even though it's a big no-no, I was driving drunk in the middle of the night, as this long straight road in the Philadelphia. I don't know, forgot the name. I think it's like Brent Franklin Road or something like that. It goes from one end of the city to the other end. It's like 10-kilometer stretch from the town hall to the end of the city. So in the middle of the night, I used to blare in my speaker Nazia Hassan songs, and I will just drive around, go on the other side, come back, and then yeah, I mean, those were fun days, but it was bad. And then I got shit scared. I never drove drunk after that ever again. So anyway, so from Philadelphia, I used to go around to places, of course, inside the city, but also to the beach towns in Ocean City, Atlantic City. I used to go to New York once in a while, fairly regularly. And once I was driving around a neighborhood, as I said, and then I think, changing the channel on the radio, and I missed a stop sign, and I banged into another car. So me and my friend was together in the car, and then I banged to the two guys. I think they were students, black guys. They're very nice people. They didn't say anything. Instead of saying they pay me some money to fix car, they said, "Fine, give me your insurance. We'll claim from your insurance." It's like the what is it called? Third party damage. So that's the only one and only time I had an accident in America. It was not severe. The car was impaired. But I got it fixed. But yeah. So then I got transferred. I mean, I got another job outside the city in the suburbs. So I got there, and there I could drive around. I mean, I was getting okay. I could drive around back then. I was not so bad. Then my friend Rajesh came from India to US. He went through TCS, and in Washington DC he got posted there. So I knew he's coming through New York, change a plane and then go to DC. So I said I'll go and meet him in New York. So and me and my friend went there to New York airport, and to greet him, and he came out, and he was not back then there was no internet, WhatsApp, anything. So he didn't know that I was coming to meet him. He was so surprised, pleasantly surprised and happy to see me there. And then he was supposed to catch the domestic flight to go to DC. And I thought, well, why can't we just go home to my place in Philadelphia, stay overnight, and it was Saturday evening. And tomorrow I'll drive him to DC. So that's a good plan. So, but his baggage are checked in to the other plane. So I went to the airline guard. I said, okay, here's my friend. He came from India, and I want to take him by home. Can you please get his bags out? And the girl was very nice. I said, yeah, I'll try it. So she called and got the bags out, and then we came back home from New York to Philadelphia. And we partied all night, and we were very happy. And the next morning, I was supposed to drive him to DC. It started at 11 o'clock, and it started snowing. And I'd driven in snow before, but not like this. It was snowing like hell. By 12 o'clock, it was like almost 2 feet snow on the road. So it took us about 5 hours. So we reached DC about 5 o'clock, around 5 o'clock. So I dropped him around 5:30, 6 o'clock. I started from there. And by the time it was like 4 feet of snow. The car is not even getting down. It is touching the chassis. The snow is touching chassis. I was going like, I don't know, 10 kilometers or something like that. So I came back home at like 1 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning. So I remembered that day, and I was playing that song from Patal Bhairavi, and because Rajesh bought that cassette on my way. But then, yeah, every weekend I used to go to Washington DC to meet Rajesh, almost every weekend. And then I used to go around, and slowly I was getting comfortable how to know how to drive. And then some few more friends came in New York. I used to go there, pick them up. So it was okay. And then finally I left US and I was going to study in Canada. I got a offer from Calgary to do masters there. So Calgary was like on the west coast in Alberta. So that's like 3,500 kilometers away. So I said, okay, I will drive my car. I have to because I have to take all my belongings, my car, my cycle, and that's expensive over there to transport them. It's a lot cheaper if you just drive yourself. So I said, okay, I'll just drive myself. So I packed everything. I got my cycle behind. I started, and on my way, I had some few friends. Chicago, I had a friend, and then Minnesota, I had my friend studying there. He was studying mathematics. He and his wife both were my friends. So, okay, I'll stay with them, and then I'll go to Canada. So I started from Washington DC, and then from Rajesh's place because I left my apartment earlier. And then first night I stayed in Cleveland because it's old. Because I started in Cleveland, so I wanted to go down the memory lane. I went to Cleveland. One night stayed there, and then in the next day I went to Chicago. Chicago, I stayed with my friend, and then for some reason I think I slept in the day, and in the evening I felt fresh. I said, okay, I'll start in the evening. Go to Minnesota. I started in the evening. Tried driving to Minnesota. By the time I reached Milwaukee, it was so thick fog I couldn't see a thing. So I had to pull over to a service station. I remembered that day. I mean, the service station was all empty. There was nobody and thick fog. I can't see a thing. I was so scared. And where the ghosts? I was taking the car to fog to clear up. By about 6 o'clock in the morning, fogs got cleared up. So I started driving again. Then I reached Minnesota. I met our friends. So we had some party. We went to Duluth for a trip. Came back. The next morning, I started back again towards Canada. So I crossed the Dakota, and then I crossed the border to Canada in Emerson, and then past Winnipeg, and then stayed overnight at Portage La Prairie, a small town, because that's the only hotel I could afford. And then started driving through Canadian prairies. I mean, prairies is something, isn't it? I mean, it's like miles after miles of flat land. There's nothing in there. No trees, no mountains, no nothing. It's either grazing ground or crops. And it's just some experience of driving through it. I mean, this is the only road in Canada, Route 1. Simple. And it's a only 2-lane highway. It's not even 4-lane, but there's hardly any traffic there because so few people live in Canada. And you could see the granaries and the rich soil and the farming land. So rich. Anyway, so I drove through it, and then next night I stayed in Swift Current, and next day I was in Calgary. So Calgary, I got a flat, and that was not very close, so I had to commute by car. So I had to take it, and because the university is inside the city, the parking was expensive, so I had to pay. I think I don't remember, like $90 a quarter, so like $30 a month, and that is about 15 minutes walk from my department. That's like outside the university. And in that cold, Calgary is cold, man. Sometimes reach like minus 40 degrees. To get out of the car and to go to the university, even with thick gloves, your hand starts burning, right? Your finger starts burning. It was hard. And then, yeah, I mean, so I used to drive there, and this ice gets stuck up in the windshield. I mean, you could see on the top of the roof will be thick snow, right? I mean, if you don't clear it. And if it's sunny day, it's still very cold, by the way. The water will start melting inside because inside is hot. And then as it starts steeping through the windshield, it'll freeze on its way. It's like amazing. It's how cold it is. And the roads are all like ice, sheet of ice. There is zero traction. You're driving now, you press a brake, the car will keep going. You turn your wheel, the car will go in the straight. It's frustrating. I mean, sometimes it's so scary that you turn your wheel, the car doesn't go anywhere. But anyway, I learned how to drive on those sheet of ice. I mean, it's just frustrating. The main roads they clear up. It's the side roads that then never cleared up, and snow keeps on falling and then becomes sheet of ice, and it's almost like a carom board driving on it. So anyway, so around Canada, sorry, around Calgary, I had a friend there, and we used to go around, particularly Banff, very very often. Banff, so beautiful, isn't it? I mean, it's just lovely place, craggy mountains, snow-capped, beautiful lakes. In the summer, oh, the whole place comes alive, the greeneries and flowers and everything. It's just absolutely amazing. They call it Switzerland of Canada, but I've never been to Switzerland, but it's really lovely, and we used to go there very often. And then Canmore, Kananaskis. Then once I went to Edmonton a couple of times, and then other places, right? So we used to go around the city. I had a friend, and I remember those days, particularly Thanksgiving or during the Christmas. The of course they're family places, right? And everybody will be inside. The whole city will be completely deserted, all lit up, but completely. I used to ride around the city, and I felt so lonely. I can't explain, because there's nobody there. I mean, for me, everybody is enjoying partying with their friends, families, but I had no one. So, but the car was an escape for me. So that was something. Then what happened is, see, the Canada is very cold, right? Minus 40 degrees. The car is not meant to survive that cold. So normally you're supposed to get a change of the piston ring. It's supposed to be uh, cold proof, but I never knew all this stuff. So I was driving around, but the piston became brittle because of the cold. I didn't know all of this, and it cracked, and the engine oil started seeping into the engine, and then slowly the engine broke down. Finally, one day, the car is not getting any traction anymore, and I didn't know. So I took it to the garage and say, well, the guy said, well, your engine broke. You have to change the engine. It's like $5,000. I said, I don't have $5,000. And by then, $5,000 is more than the cost of the car. So I said, I can't afford it. So there's nothing can be done. I said, okay, then I will get rid of the car. So I sold it to him for $1,500, and then that's it. After that, I didn't have a car anymore. So I had this bus pass, university Isuzu bus pass for $40. So I used to commute by bus and train, and that was some good experience. After that, by that time, I was already decided to leave. So I was about to leave Canada and come back home. I got married, but yeah, some 4 or 5 months there, I commuted by bus, and that was some good experience. I like that. Now, and Calgary is such an amazing city, isn't it? I mean, it's like almost dream city. So beautiful, and particularly when you go by train or by bus, it seems even more beautiful. So that was. I do not regret that I lost the car and I had to commute by bus. Actually, I have a good experience. So then I got married, and I came back to India, to Pune particularly. Of course, I didn't have a car, and I didn't need one. I was so happy because I was just got married, and I was settling down with my wife, beautiful, lovely Ranjita. So it was fun, all fun. I mean, I was like in a trance. I was so happy, and I didn't need a car. We used to go around all the time. I mean, we used go out all the time. Go to the city, go to the outskirts, go to those resorts, restaurants, all by auto rickshaw, or sometimes by bus to the city, but mostly auto rickshaw. But then slowly I started feeling that I need a car. Car is freedom, right? I mean, I got used to in the US, so I thought, okay, I'll have a car, but I don't know how to drive a car. Why? Because in India, cars are all manual transmission. I never drove a manual transmission car, so I thought, okay, I also need a license. So okay, I had to again start learning car. So I took a driving lessons, and I remember the guy. The guy expected that me to be a new driver, but I knew how to drive. I just didn't know how to handle a manual shift. So as soon as the car starts moving, I was driving normally, and the guy said, "Hey, what is this to say? Speed come cruiser," because he was afraid that I am a student learner and I didn't know how to drive. But I knew how to drive, and Ranjita used to sit behind me, by the way, while driving, while taking the loose lessons. So finally, yeah, I got a license, and then I was thinking of buying a car. Then the agent came to show me the car and said, "Okay, why did you take a test drive?" I don't know how to drive. Even after taking so lessons, I did not managed to comfortably operate the manual shift. So I went inside the car and looked around and said, hey, this looks good. Because I didn't know how to drive. I don't know how to take a test drive. So I said, okay, I'll buy it. So it's a second-hand Hyundai Centrum. I remember still the agent's name is called Pankaj Jaju. So he sold me the car and I kind of took it. But I didn't know how to drive. I couldn't even take it out of the parking lot because as soon as I released the clutch, the car stops. So one day I remember that after car, Ranjita said we have to get it done. Puja is done. We have to go to Khadki Kali Mandir to get the puja done. I said okay, I'll try it. So I somehow managed to get it out of the parking lot. Started driving. Once I went to the university circle, I was waiting for the signal to go green and it became green. And as soon as I started driving it, it stopped. I couldn't release the clutch. And people are honking by me. I got so exasperated, I just opened the door and I left with Ranjita sitting next to it. Finally, one guy came and he helped me to get the car out to the next outside. And I was screaming at Ranjita, why did you have to take me to the puja? But anyway, I did the puja. And then slowly I started getting a hang of the manual transmission. And then we learned around, going around city. And then went to Sinhagar a couple of times, few times. And then we to other places, Mulsi and other places. So yeah, I mean, I was getting comfortable how to ride. I was commuting also to office with a colleague of mine. He used to be next to me, so I was kind of felt okay that I can commute. Then yeah, from Pune we came to Bangalore. I got a job in Bell Labs. We came to Bangalore. Came through. We took the car on our way. I mean, I didn't drive. I took a driver, but we came through Savantbati, Goa, and then finally came to Bangalore. In Bangalore, I was kind of close to office, and Ranjita wouldn't let me drive. So because she felt Bangalore is very dangerous, so she didn't let me drive. So I was commuting using the auto rickshaw. I was close by. I mean, my office is in Kuramangala, and I was Silk Board. So yeah, I mean, I was commuting by auto, sometimes by walk. But I had the car, so weekend we had to go. Sometimes I remember I went to Nondi Hills once, and back then the new airport was being built, so the highway was getting built. So I remember those days. Once I went to Hoskote again. This not Hoskote, Kolar. Again, this old Chennai Express was back then was getting built. So I remember those days. Go around the city. And then in 2011, I went to many places. We went to many places. We went to Mudumalai, and then Bandipur, and then Belur, many places. And then finally I went to this Udupi and those places. So this Centro car is very good actually. I mean, it's one of the it's really good. I don't know why they stopped it. This is high up, you could see it. It has a nice life, and the doors open very nicely. In 2013, just one day before my daughter was born, I got this new Skoda car. Um, and as I was driving to the office, I got the call. The Sunday I got the car. Monday I was driving to office. I got the call. Okay, you have to go to the hospital. So my daughter was born. It's like one day before. So my car is now 13-year-old. And then I completely hated driving in Bangalore. It was so congested. My legs paining. And of course, you do still used to go to places, but I didn't like driving. So I used to hire a driver to go to office and stuff like that. But recently, again, but my car is driving so great these days. I don't know why. I mean, something happened. Whatever happened, I'm liking the car. I put a new music system, some speakers, particularly the music. Because of the music, I somehow these days I enjoy driving. So then I started commuting to office, but that was not feasible. So congested. So I don't commute to work anymore. But I kind of enjoy driving because I get to listen to music, and particularly when you get stuck in the traffic, you get to listen to music more. So yeah, I mean, I was recently, I mean, last 4 or 5 months, I was kind of finally I was enjoying driving. I still don't know how to drive, by the way. I bang my car every time I park it. I don't know how many times I banged my car in a parking lot. So I'm not a good driver. I don't know how to drive, but I enjoy driving because I get to listen to music. And listening to music inside the car in motion is different than listening to music when you are home in a speaker. So that's why it is intertwined, and that is the experience that I enjoy the most. So yeah, I mean, driving experience, I kind of like it now. Maybe if I have buy a very expensive, very nice car, I may like it. But even in my own car, I like it, but I don't like the traffic. But I do like the music. So that's my summary about my driving experience. Yeah, so that's my experience about driving. And thanks for watching.